Hey everyone, Rarity Dash here. Time for another Patreon sponsored blind reaction. And this one comes to you courtesy of Blue Explorer, who has requested that I react to breaking down My Hero Academia's incredible animation, Animator Spotlight by the Canipa effect. So, yeah, this sounds like it should be interesting. Breaking down the animation in My Hero Academia, yeah, that could be pretty cool, because there definitely is a lot of really good animation in My Hero. I mean, Studio Bones has always been a good studio. And, yeah, My Hero might be some of their best stuff. I mean, they did do, like, Soul Eater, which is a very visually impressive show. And, like, Full Metal Alchemist. And a number of other, like, pretty well-regarded anime. So, it's hard to say that for certain. But My Hero definitely is really well animated. Which is for the best. I mean, it is a very popular, like, fairly mainstream show, so kind of deserves that extra attention to the animation. And, yeah, it definitely gets it. So I'm excited to see someone who is informed and actually knows about animation talking about it and really highlighting what makes it so good. That should be cool. So let's get started and find out. Here we go. Oh. Cool. Everyone with Patreon these days.
The story
Because
of
it's hard to
My
make
Hero
money with
Academia
YouTube otherwise.
starts two ways. It starts with Deku, a powerless kid desperate to become something more. And it starts with a manga ready to be adapted into an anime. And instead of letting it just fall into some sort of production hellscape, Toho producer Wakana Okamura believed that it could be something more than that. She realized that most shonen manga adaptations aren't really familiar with having high-quality production values, and saw a potential for My Hero Academia to reach more people.
There is kind of a different
Studio
approach to
Bones
it
shows
from
have
other
a
shonen.
record of being popular overseas, and Okamura was already familiar with director Kenji Nagasaki's work on Gundam Build Fighters. So it already had potential thanks to our high quality staff, now including the renowned character designer Yoshihiko Umekoshi. And all that was left at that point was to make it.
Yeah. Like a Canipa effect. It's kind of cool seeing, I guess, his animation.
My Hero Academia is a
Proven
series
that he does know what he's
builds on
talking
the
about.
appeal of the manga whilst creating its own appeal. It's like a model adaptation. Even though the story is already written out, production allowed time for the staff to work on the series year-long, but only have to complete 1 or 2 seasons each year.
Yeah, that's
whilst
really
spending
the
rest
big
of the
difference, I
time
think.
Planning
They
and
don't have to
working on the
constantly
next
make it.
season. This allows the team to recalibrate, work out new approaches, and plan roles for the
Also
next
means no
season.
filler.
It helps that even
Or
in
minimal
a world where
filler.
Konosuba swapped studios, Attack on Titan swapped directors, and One Punch Man swapped everything, the My Hero Academia staff are prepared to stick with it. Even the movie, they could have easily said, hey, we're busy, let one of the younger staff have a go. But they're clearly passionate about this story. And their
Yeah,
presence means
it really
a lot.
shows.
It's a draw for other staff members to help out. Directors and storyboard artists who have worked with Nagasaki in the past helped him out again. And much of the
You don't
staff
even
at
think about how good the
Center were
animation is, but
attached
just
thanks
looking
to
at
My
it.
Hero Academia being planned by the same
It really
Bones and
is.
Toho production staff. But we should probably start with Umekoshi. In every interview where they ask what was challenging about My Hero Academia, he just responds with time. As chief animation director and character designer on the series, it was his responsibility to make sure that animation reflected the style he'd developed into the character designs. So a lot of his time was spent redrawing animation and adding features that make them stand out. His designs have deep shading, thick lines, and distinctive expressive faces.
Very expressive.
He's known as the character designer for Cashin Sins, Heartcatch Precure, and Magical Doremi, so his position on My Hero Academia
variety
was
there.
a celebrity entry. He regards himself as not having a particular style, but rather just finds a way to have designs that reflects the original work appropriately, whilst also being easy to animate. But this doesn't mean that the designs aren't distinctive. Rather, it's the opposite,
Yeah.
with him reinventing his approach for each series. But as I mentioned before, this takes time. There's only so much he can correct week to week, focusing on getting the important scenes ready for broadcast. And then, even before the series finished airing, he has to go back to those episodes that went out unfinished and start doing corrections ready for the release of the Blu-ray, where scenes will be turned from this to this.
Oh.
Even though My Hero Academia takes a break from broadcasting for at least half a year, the team are always flat out working on it. Animators will use this time to play up to their own strengths, not in the name of consistency, but in regards to what they feel will play out best on screen. Umekoshi isn't interested in restricting visual freedom as long as the end product represents the visual style of the characters. For instance, this is a cut by Kazuhiro Miura for episode 4, and here are his original keyframes.
Well, that's cool.
The additions made from there were all extra lines and thickness to fit the My Hero Academia style and amplify the scene rather than change it.
Oh, and that might be some of the best.
Season 1 was a time for getting things right, finding their feet, and introducing us not only to the story of My Hero Academia, but also the styles of animation we could expect and how these extraordinary powers would play out on screen. And the season concludes with a full demonstration of All Might's power, animated by a team of young animators, including Kazuto Arai, who uploaded his rough animation of the explosive impact. But Season 2 was all about amping things up. Not only was there more fights to be had than the first season, but even the character acting stepped up to a new level, giving characters new ways of expressing themselves. And even though the character animation had improved, it wasn't a zero-sum game, as more talent became available for Season 2, working to make the tournament arcs stand out. Gundam Thunderbolt
adding in some Kyoka
and genius mecha animator Ken Otsuka were regular appearances as storyboard artists. Otsuka was a storyboard artist and animator who amplified Kenji Nagasaki's Gundam Build Fighters series, and it was great to see them working together again on My Hero Academia. Likewise, Full Metal Alchemist director Seiji Mizushima stepped in for Season 2, Episode 6. Mizushima was also the director of Gundam 00, where Nagasaki directed and storyboarded a ton of episodes. So this is kind of a role reversal. I would have liked to see him board an action episode, but his work on My Hero Academia did give us some great dramatic shots like this, including some great moments with Endeavor. But if you ask anyone what the highlight of the
is pretty cool in terms of animation.
Even Umekoshi will tell you it was episode 10.
Yeah.
In interviews with both IGN and ANN, he specifically points out this episode as being the most important. It was one of the most important stories of the season, and he needed to
an important episode
carefully to fit the strengths of each animator. And it would reach a climax with an extended scene by one of anime's
this moment.
Animators.
This was incredible. Oh, really?
Bones animator Yutaka Nakamura is perhaps one of the most recognizable animators in the industry.
That's really cool. That's why it's so good.
Involve a moving camera, super speed action, and explosive impacts that often end up in cubic debris. He's done other stuff, most recently with silly character acting in Kekkei Sensen, but judging from fan reactions, it's these action sequences that spark a reaction.
This looks so cool. This was cool too.
Wasn't available for Season 1, presumably due to being busy with the concurrently airing Concrete Revolution. But he made his Season 2 splash in Episode 3 with this striking scene where Todoroki takes down a large
stuff like this
and runs away. These cuts are some of the highlights of Nakamura's latest Incompleteness animation book. I have my own signed copy, but thanks to Jem for scanning and compiling it into a moving rough animation. Nakamura is a celebrity onto My Hero Academia, but he's certainly not the be-all and end-all of My Hero Academia action. There's a dedicated super team of action animators attached to the project who made Season 2 into a spectacle. One such person is Takashi Mitani, a Bones animator who handled several cuts in Season 2, Episode 5. You will probably remember the clash between Deku and Todoroki, where Deku tries to steal his headbands, but his cut with Ida using his engine quirk is intense, showing his exhaust heating
that is a cool moment.
Inside.
That is
he then blasts
very cool
off
touch.
With an incredible display of speed that just
Really
made the episode for me.
Gets the
Beyond
point of it
Todoroki,
across.
We got a really neat combination of cuts in the battle with Stain. The great thing about these is that they're cuts that show multiple different powers at the same time, and the scene is restricted to a small alley, allowing for some really interesting choreography where they're leaping up the walls. This arc had two great scenes from animator Masaya
all the Stain stuff
Tsukumaki.
was great.
One where Ida attempts to kick Stain, and another where Endeavor...
Oh yeah, this was awesome.
Ever since Todoroki first unleashed his fire animation has been a pillar of My Hero Academia action. Different animators portray it in different ways. Yutaka Nakamura showed it like
That's a good
rocket
point.
exhaust, burning so hot that you can't see the individual flames, while Sekizaki made a point of showing the individual flames flickering wildly. Throughout Season 2 and Season 3, you can see different approaches to Todoroki's power, and they make up some of the best moments in these seasons.
Momo's big moment there.
But for now, let's move on to the currently airing Season 3.
Well, not.
Early on in the season, fearing an attack from the League of Villains, the cast head off into the mountains to stretch the limits of their quest.
I hope this was after
is
the All
shown
for One
through
fight.
A great extended sequence
that was-
by animator Yuki Sato.
That was amazing.
Where they show each character testing their abilities,
Yeah.
often in the same frame. One of the best cuts is Denki's attempt to maintain his electricity as he struggles wildly. It's worth mentioning that this is the first season without Umakoshi doing animation direction at all. He shared the role in the past, but he's presumably been too busy with the My Hero Academia movie to supervise the third season.
I mean, that's
but
fair.
That said, even with his exceptional talent and thorough corrections,
Oh, yes,
the
yeah.
show can comfortably
There
go
we
on
go.
without him, thanks to an ever-growing team of talents. This season, we had yet another talented guest storyboard artist
Pussycats.
in the form of Kekai Sensen director Rie Matsumoto. Kenji Nagasaki storyboarded the charming burger episode in Kekai Sensen for her, and on the flip side, Matsumoto did the same with the fun training episode in My Hero Academia. The episode was filled with small
Mina.
quirks and comedic framing and
Being
clever
adorable.
ways to establish character dynamics within a scene. My Hero Academia is a clash of calm and commotion. One episode will be about character bonding, and the next will be a series of epic fights. Season 3 summed this dynamic up pretty damn well. In episode 11, French animator Cedric Caron animated the collision between All Might and All
Okay,
For One,
French
using
guy.
hundreds of speed lines as
unexpected.
anticipation to emphasize the power involved.
Kinda cool.
Caron even uploaded the raw keyframes, giving us a better idea of all the work that was put into making
wow.
this scene one to be remembered. He wasn't the only French animator to work on this season either. Both Mehdi Al-Shawi, whose
That's
name
nice.
I've just butchered, and Ken Ato worked on a slice of life episode where the cast were checking out their dorms, and they shared their work online as well. By having talented foreign animators involved in high-profile projects, it doesn't just increase the pool of talent, but it creates a global precedent. Seeing people from your own country make that step over to working on major episodes of popular anime sends out a message that it really is possible. Some of the French staff on My Hero Academia Season 3 have been working in the industry for decades, but social media allows generations of animation talent to interact. And by having public positive examples and ways for animators abroad to communicate and introduce themselves, well,
That's
you
cool.
get stuff like Boruto episode 65.
Oh, there are that many episodes of Boruto?
My Hero Academia is a show made to be exceptional. From the very outset, it was planned in a way that would allow for the quality consistent animation that its producer felt wasn't common for other shonen adaptations. And although not all of the talents involved in the first season were able to return for future seasons, others joined to demonstrate what they felt My Hero Academia could be. The series will only ever be as strong as the creative staff that make it. Every punch that we take for granted has been toiled over, rethought and redrawn as the animation talents seek to understand the characters, their abilities and their personalities in motion. I've been doing this sort of content long enough to know that even I can't remember all of the names that I include in these videos. But if the names can't be the takeaway from this video, then let it be the impact and how the individual creativity of many people and the production environment that it stems from can create stories that appeal to millions across the world. Thanks for watching the Canipa Effect, but before I go, I'd like to thank the super
Wasn't sure I said it right.
for supporting the channel. In
Guess I did.
particular, I'd like to thank the heroic Little Crow, the super-powered Hamad, the selfless Austin Hardwick, the fearless Shannon Schaffner, the chivalrous Salima, the gallant Cappy Bro, the valiant Shishi, the courageous Pfeiffer, the costume Chariot, the super speed Yuan Argil, the bold Christopher Wade, the resolute Jakob Gard, Frothy the Rainy Hero,
really going through,
otherwise known as Frogkun, the dauntless Arc Disruptor,
really going through all your
Mike
adjectives here.
Zambarelli, literally my own supermother.
Okay.
Is it a bird?
Yeah.
Is it a plane? No,
Mum.
it's Isaac Wu. To support the channel just like these heroes, please visit Patreon.
But not the other four?
/The Canipa Effect.
I thought you were going to do them all, but I guess the other four don't matter. Probably a lower tier on Patreon. But there we go. That was fun. That was really cool, actually. I mean, just hearing him talk about it, gush over the animation, it really calls more attention to the animation and helps me appreciate it even more than I already do. So I'm not always thinking about the animation. I am when it's like really incredible, like during the fights, but it can be really good even in the quieter moments, and I'm often not thinking about that. So this just highlights that and really draws the attention to that. And it's cool to just see some of the best moments again. Though we didn't go to everything. I mean, for one thing, didn't see All for One, even though this clearly came out after. Which I wonder if that's because it was apparently currently airing at the time, and he didn't want to really spoil that fight. I mean, I can definitely respect that decision if that's the case, but that was like... that's one of the highlights of the entire series so far. Yeah. Yeah, really cool. My Hero is great. And I really do think that it really does come down to the decision to have those hiatuses and not have it constantly going. Take the breaks and just produce it a season at a time, and not just constantly churn it out like other shonens, where they keep it going even when they run out of source material. I think they're coming out with a better product, even if they're, I guess, falling behind the manga, maybe. I don't know. But I guess that's the bad part, the drawback of doing it this way. But I don't think My Hero fans really mind all that much. I mean, even the ones who are caught up with the manga. Because this way you're just making it really good. You're making something that people will just appreciate and really love. And My Hero does it so well, and it shows. And I think that's a big part of why it really drew me in as much as it did. And why I just have such a positive feeling about the show. And yeah. Stuff like this video just helps that positive feeling, because this was itself just so positive and so clearly in love with everything My Hero. And I don't know, it was good. And it was cool seeing like some of the frames and stuff, the stuff that's been shared. It's always interesting to see like the process a little bit, and I think that definitely adds to it. Because I mean, sometimes it's hard to imagine the scenes you're watching as just lines on a page that have been drawn by someone when it comes to animation. But when you see something like that, that's what you literally see, and it's kind of it's just fascinating to see it go from one to the other, and it's cool. It's very cool. Anyway, all I really gotta say, this was a fun video. Hope you liked the reaction. Let me know if you did, and see you in the next one.